Hey everybody, it is Sarah, and today we are going to be learning how to make this fluffy mohawk on this emotional support monster. So if you have not made the emotional support monster yet, go ahead and watch this video right there. I should have it tagged right up here at the top, and it will also be down into the description box below. This hairstyle is really cute and fun, and it's just so fun to play with. It's everybody's favorite, so let's get into how we make it. So I did use a variegated yarn for this hair. I used this rainbow one right here. I believe this is I Heart This Yarn from Hobby Lobby. It is a 4-ply worsted weight yarn, but that's not what I'm going to be using for this one today. I will be using this cute little monster that I have made. And coincidentally, I actually forgot to put the keychain into the top of this one. Uh, and as you can see, when I did the hair on this one, I just went all around the keychain. And once the hair is up, you can't even tell how close I got to it. So no worries about that. But like I said, I don't have a keychain in the one I will be working in today. I will be doing my hair in black and white. I do find that it's better to use more than one color. That way you don't have to use so much of one color. This is all the white I actually have right now. And then I do have more black. So I will use this. And then if I need more, I will always use more black. So grab whatever hair color you will be using for your monster. You're going to need some sort of hook. I am just going to use the same hook I used to make it. It's a 4.75 millimeter hook, and that is used to just get around the stitches to make life easier. You're going to need some pair of scissors, some sort of book. Okay, doesn't matter how big it is. This is pretty standard book size. I use this to make my hair. And then you're also going to need some sort of wire brush. This is key right here. And so you can probably get this at any craft store. I think you can even get it at like Walmart. Pretty easy to find. But this is like the most important step out of this whole thing is this brush right here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is grab our yarn and we're gonna put it together just like this. And then we're going to grab our book. Okay. And I'm going to wrap this around this book a bunch of times. So I'm going to bring this almost all the way up to the top. We're going to work kind of at the edge. Oops, there we go. And you were just going to wrap this around and around and around and around. Okay, so I have just about reached the end of my white, and I'm just going to keep going with the black, honestly. If I can get it off of my bowl. There we go. Because I might as well, the ball is getting pretty small. There we go. So just do as much as you feel, honestly, because rather have too much than not enough, in my opinion. Okay, so once you get to this spot, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off so it's more closer to the length. And you have it wrapped around your book right here. You're going to go ahead and come up to the top. This is where, actually, we started right about here, I think. And honestly, it doesn't matter what side you cut. But go ahead and cut your strings on one side of the book. There we go. Okay. All right. Now we don't need the book anymore. And this right here is going to be our hair. Okay, so you're going to grab 2 pieces of yarn, just like this. I am starting with 2 black pieces, and you're going to put them in half, just like this, around your finger. And then you're going to take your monster. And when I did it around the entire head right here, and it's skinnier in the back. My daughter thought I should have gone skinny all the way up top, but once I show you how to do it, you can make that decision for yourself. So I'm going to insert my hook around any stitch up here. I usually go, let's see, 1, 2, 3. In between round 3 and 4 is the furthest I will be going. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So right here. is the furthest I will be going down. So you stick your hook in between those stitches right there, grab the yarn right where we put it in half, just like that. And then you're going to pull it through. Okay. So now we have a big old loop right here, and you're going to grab it and pull it through both of those just like that and pull it all the way through, just basically doing a slip knot. Pull it nice and tight. And now he's got some hair. So you're going to do this all around the top of his head, going as close as you can to the keychain if you did add that in. Unfortunately, like I said, I forgot to add that into this one. Go ahead and loop that around, pull it through those, and pull it through. Okay. Now this next one, I think I will be adding some white. So go ahead and put your hook through, just like that, and pull it through. Just like that. Pull it nice and tight. Okay, now go ahead and cover the whole top of the head like this, and I will meet you. If you wanted to just go straight back like this, you can do that, or you can do the whole head. Either way, I will meet you back right here when I have the entire head covered. So this is how far I have gotten on my monster's hair. I have been spacing out my white so that, see, this is how much white I have left. I'll probably need to cut some more black by the time I'm done. But it's totally giving me like, is her name Morticia from the Addams Family? That's the vibes it's giving me. But right now I'm going to be turning it over and we're going to be going down the back right here. And if you can even tell in this monster, you can see it's not completely, I mean, with crochet, it's hard to get it completely straight, but I love it. It doesn't matter if you mess up a little bit, with it all fluffy, it's not going to matter. So go ahead and keep grabbing your two strands of color, folding it in half, and then I'm going to try to keep this as straight as I can, going right down the middle right here. So we're just going to go around the stitch and start going down. This loop bigger than that so it's easier. There we go. Pull that nice and tight. Grab another one. And I'm probably going to do this about 3 stitches wide. So you might have to like kind of zigzag it back and forth to keep it straight. But there's no, these are monsters. That there's no right or wrong way to do this. So, but this is just how I am doing mine. So I'd say probably go around the seam right here. And I'm going to do that one with white. Go ahead and even if it's big like that, doesn't matter. And go ahead and do our slip knot. Just pull it nice and tight. So we have our first row. And go ahead and keep putting this all the way down. Straight down. And I didn't go all the way to the bottom. And this one I went about halfway down to the bottom. So you can go as far as you want. However, you feel comfortable. Like I said, if you didn't even want to cover the whole head and just do the straight little mohawk down the back, then go ahead and do that. Let's see. Go ahead and keep adding your hair. And I did skip a stitch right there in the middle, so go ahead and grab that one. There we go. So as you can see, we're going down and I've added three. And it's pretty easy to keep it straight as it can be. Like I said, the seam is moving this way slightly. So now I'm one stitch on the other side of the seam and it's not that big of a deal. I love art. So if you love art like me, you probably grew up watching Bob Ross. And what does he say? There are no mistakes in art. There's only happy little accidents because you can always fix things. And as a crocheter, you probably know that you've probably added a stitch to make things even or decreased a stitch to make these even instead of going back and fix things. I mean, we've all done it. So, yeah, no worries. So, go ahead and keep adding your yarn all the way down as far as you want. I am probably going to go the same amount as I did on the other one, about halfway down. So, I'm going to go ahead and continue this off camera. And as you can see, this is what it's looking like from this side, and this is what it's looking like from this side. And straight down the back right here. It's going to kind of go just like that. But I'm probably going to stop right around here. So I will meet you in a couple minutes right around right here. Okay, so I have finished putting the hair on my monster. And at this point, I am going to be cutting some of the hair off because we're going to lose about half of the length anyways. So I would, let's see, separate what comes in the back and what goes on top, just like that. And I would cut them the same length. And I'm going to cut them about halfway. And like I said, this does not have to be perfect because we are going to be brushing out all of this and you can always fix it later. So there's that. Cut this one too. Hopefully you have better scissors than I do. I always tell myself I'm going to get better scissors, but I have yet to do it. Okay. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just trying to avoid making this mess, but whatever. Okay, now this next part, you are going to want to make sure that you have a surface that you don't care gets damaged. Now, I use a piece of cloth right here, so I'm going to be moving this. And this is a plastic table, which I honestly don't really care too much about this table. It can get damaged. It is for art. So at this point, you're going to take your wire brush and you're going to lay the hair out. And this is where you're going to make sure that you're kind of pushing down right here on the um, knots that you created. And they were done really tight, so you shouldn't have to worry about anything. But at this point, this is when you're going to start brushing out the hair. And you're going to be pushing kind of hard. And I usually do this out by my I usually do this out by my fireplace because I do it on the brick. Okay, I had to adjust my camera. But anyways, I go like this and I do it pretty hard. And you were going to be pulling out it's basically softening up all the hair, as you can see. It is the equivalent of pulling out these strings and all the way, basically, but it's pretty faster. This is how I make troll hair and any hair that's fluffy like that. But you're basically going to do this all the way across your entire monster. It's not a great sound to listen to, and I apologize for that. But go ahead and do it, like I said, little by little throughout your entire monster. As you can see, the ends are getting fluffy, right? And so I'll turn it over and I'll do this side for a little bit. And you're probably gonna have to pull out some of the hair or yarn. But yeah, this is how I get the hair to be like that. And when you're done doing this, you might give it a little trim. You can see it's all coming out pretty nicely. Look at that. But yeah, you're going to do this for a while and it's just going over and over. And like I said, make sure you're doing it on the surface that you don't mind it damaging. I'm sure if I did this on this table, after a while, it's going to start wearing it down at some point. So don't do this on any kind of surface that you don't want scratched. Yeah. So this is basically how you do it. And you're going to do this over the entire monster. See, look at that. It is really starting to fluff out. And so I will do a little bit off camera and I will come back and we will see how we're working, how yours is going. Okay, so I have been doing this for a little bit and you'll see that it comes up like that. And it is completely okay to just, if that comes off just like that, I have an entire pile of it right here. So don't be worried if that's how it is for you too. That's why we ended up cutting it so that that pile wasn't even bigger. So don't be afraid to just go like that, get it off. We want all of those curls out. We want it all nice and fluffy. So go ahead and push hard. And it's going to get all skinny like that. And then it'll just break off. It'll just detach. See? And it's usually all around the same length. There we go. Depends on how much you're going to brush it, how thin you want it. So I'd say the back is pretty much done. I might have to work a little bit on the strings that are in the center because, like that right there. We want those ones to get all fluffy too. So I might just pop those out. Make sure I'm getting those too. Definitely want to get all of those. So we're going to go ahead and do this all over the head, all over the entire head. And I just work section by section. So the back is done. And now I might just start breaking off like little sections like that and continue working up up the head and getting it all brushed out. So yeah, go ahead and continue to do this all the way around your monster. And I will meet you at the end. Like I said, don't worry about it like that. That is completely normal. And it's just going to uncurl and fluff off, and it should be all good. And at the end, I will show you how to trim it if you need to trim it. Okay, so I have been going in, kind of just making sure that I've gotten all the pieces of yarn that I want, all the pieces of it, like all spread out or whatever, and get them all fuzzy in case I've missed any. I think I've got them all. Look at this. Look at this guy. So I do think it's a little long up top. So what I'm going to do is just give it a little snip like that. You can do this however you want. There we go. And then to make it not as you know, flat on those edges again, you're just gonna go like this again and it'll give it that nice little pointed edge. Just a little bit, and it brings it all out nice and pointy again, not as flat. But yeah, so I might play around with this a little bit, but that's pretty much how you make these guys. And I am just so in love with this little guy. Oh my gosh. Look at this. So let's see, let's compare him to the other one. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Yes, I might trim this up a little bit again. But that's basically how you do it, and it's giving Morticia skunk vibes. I don't know. But I really love this, and I hope you guys did too. And I hope I hope this helps you do the fuzzy hair on anything, really. So it's just so soft. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.